back to thee. Oh, you wanna battle Zep, son? I'm glad as heck. Hit you with the boom pow like I'm Adam West.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Blood Sausage, and I'm back to cover the two books that I would like to add to the collection. I think they are very good books to own, and I did the last time, I'm going to compare one book from the Silver Age to a book from the Bronze Age. And first book I'd like to talk about is the first appearance of Juggernaut, which is X-Men number 12. It came out in 1965, and Juggernaut has been uh, an important X-Men character for many years now. Um, his character design and his powers is very cool, um, and he's actually recently become, I guess, an anti-hero or a hero. He's with the good guys now, so he's part of the team. He's been on the X-Men. I don't know if he's currently on X-Men. I know like a lot of stuff's been going on with the X books, branching up of teams and stuff like that. But he got a kind of new like character design. He has like the red stripe going through his helmet. Really cool. Modernized look to him, and just a really great character in my opinion. Um, and let's get into the numbers. I looked it up, and there's been a little bit of changes. A couple more books on the census than when I first looked up the numbers this past August, and I'll try to pull those up and so you could see the comparisons. So X-Men number 12, first Juggernaut, origin of Professor X, and first appearance Kane Marco, aka Juggernaut. He's Professor Xavier's stepbrother. Did a little research into this book, and so they're stepbrothers. He was jealous of Professor Xavier because with his mental abilities, he excelled in academics and in sports. I remember. I think I read that he actually had beaten Kane Marco in a fight because he could tell, what was coming. Um, so, Growing up, Kane Marco always had this animosity towards Charles. Being Charles being better at him and everything. So they were actually in a war, and they stumbled upon a temple. Right, they were like, I don't know if they were fleeing or hiding, but they came across the temple, and I think it was Sidorak's temple, and inside this temple was the Crimson Gem of Sidorak, which gave Kane Marco his powers, and he became the Juggernaut. And now that he has some type of all of a sudden this physical prowess, this all this physical power, he wanted to get at Professor X, and he's been a thorn in the X-Men side ever since. um, CGC census, right? So I looked it up today. There was 3,581 blue labels. When I went back and looked at my notes from August, there was 3,518. So I actually questioned if I copied down those numbers wrong, because the 18 and 81 is backwards. Um, so there's 3,581 blue labels as of today, October 16th, 2023. There are 231 signature series. There's around 4,000 total graded copies of X-Men number 12, the first Juggernaut. There's 3,998, so two copies short of 4K. And a really, really good book. Here's some, recent sales of graded copies. It's just kind of easier to keep track of graded copies. With raws, there's a lot of variability. So like I said before, the 3,581 and 231 signature series doesn't make up the whole 4,000. So the rest of the 4,000. So you have qualified copies, which are either stuff cut out, missing, or someone or was written on, or even signed, but just not witnessed by a CGC representative. And then you have like restored copies, which is the purple label, that rounds out the 4,000 copies of this book. But just like to stick to the blue labels and the signature series. Um, this being an older book, and the creator's deceased. I know Stan is definitely deceased. Most likely the rest of the creators from this book are also. You're not going to see much movement on the signature series in terms of CGC census counts. All right, that's Juggernaut, the Unstoppable Force. The other book, this character, Thanos, or Thanos, he was a big part of my comic book collecting hobby growing up, as far as like, it was the first major event where I was like, whoa, this is like some serious stuff, right? And they end up making a movie about it, kind of, the Infinity War and Endgame. Uh, I think they were based off of the Infinity Gauntlet series. Um, you know, Honestly, I wouldn't mind them remaking it, because there are some really epic scenes in the Infinity Gauntlet comic, like Wolverine diving into Thanos' chest with his claws, and Thanos just laughing at him and makes him turn to rubber, and he just falls, and also where he puts like an invisible cube around Cyclops's beams while he's doing his optic blast stuff, and I think he shattered one of the, I think it was Captain America, into a bunch of cubes. Just Thanos just playing with Earth's mightiest heroes and company. It was really impressive. The powers that he had with the Infinity Gauntlet, and but the book to own for Thanos is, of course, Iron Man 55. It's a Bronze Age book. It is from, I believe, 1973, 1975, around that area. It is the first Thanos, first Drax, first Star-Lord, Kronos, and the Blood Brothers. So there's a bunch of first appearances, with Thanos obviously being the most important one, as well as Drax and Star Fox having some value. And you never know, Kronos might be something down the line. Not so sure about the Blood Brothers, but the reason you're getting this book primarily is because of Thanos. So, CGC census, there are 4,995 blue labels, so 5 short of 5,000. And there are 755 signature series. And the most common grade blue label for this is the I'll put up the side by side if I can, but I forgot to write the number. But there's 510 copies, up from 509, and I believe it was like the 8.5 or something like that. The most common grade for the signature series of this book, it stayed the same. It was the 7.0 with 79 copies, and that's what it was before when I pulled the numbers in August. A nice little sleeper book that I think to own for this. Well, I haven't checked prices on these, but it's Iron Man 55, but in the pence variant, or the UK price variant. There are only 102 of these on the CGC census, and that's up from 100 copies from when I pulled the numbers in August. And there are 13 signature series, which is the same from when I pulled the numbers a few months ago. Also, like Juggernaut, he's a great character. He's already had a movie built around him, a couple movies built around him. Um, he's like the villain of villains up to this point. You know, it's hard to top Thanos when it comes to being a bad guy. A few guys that could do it are Doom and Galactus, in my opinion. Uh, I don't like what they've done with Galactus recently, basically nerfing him, and you know, losing fights to Thor. Even though Thor is a god of thunder, you know, Galactus is a cosmic god, and it's not it's not they're not in the same level, in my opinion. Uh, but um, but yeah, you know, my ADD. I'm getting off topic, but yeah, great book to own. I think the price variant is a nice, sneaky way to acquire one of these, a more rarer version of such an important Marvel key, Marvel Bronze Age key, and you'll probably get it for cheaper. Um, I think people are coming around to the fact that Penn's copies are basically the same book with just a price variant on it. Um, you know, the only newsstand books that CGC actually would give the newsstand label before they started to giving them to old newsstands were price variants. They wouldn't recognize a newsstand unless it had a different price because later on, I think maybe after in the 2000s, they started costing a little bit more, and that's when CGC would you know recognize it being as a newsstand. Of course, now they recognize all newsstands with the newsstand edition label, but I feel that they should go further and have their own census because it's a different book. It really is. It was treated differently. It was handled differently. It wasn't. It's almost a different type of collector that bought off of newsstands because there were more readers. There were kids that would and put them in their back pocket and ride and take off their bike or read them while eating cheese doodles or flipping through them and put it back and times that by like 10. It's just a different book. Direct edition books were handled with more care. They didn't come out till 1979, so you already had books. People knew comic books were worth money, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then basically 79 is the beginning of the 80s. So you already had all this history of people knowing that comic books are something that appreciate in value and monetary value. So the collector, we had bags and boards, which is another reason why I believe like foreign edition of comics, obviously keys, more importantly, they didn't have bags and boards the way we did here in the States. That's why one of my favorite books is this one here. It's the first full Venom. It's Spider-Man 300, the Italian edition. It has the black cover and the Venom in red. And I think that's really neat. And these are tough to get in high grade with the black cover. It's also cardstock, so it's if there is a dent or something, it's not coming out. And it's easy to get fingerprints on, corner crunches, all that type of stuff. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. The Silver Age Juggernaut book versus the Thanos Bronze Age book. Which one? Do you have one of these? Do you have both of them? Do you have a Pence copy? Are you going for any of these? As of right now, I don't own any of these. Not even a facsimile reprint version. But they are books that I think will stand the test of time, and they will always have a market for collectors. All right, guys, thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.